Hey, yo, I'm probably going to get cooked for this. But listen to me. Even though I don't like the manga, I highly value the mangaka for writing this story. As a young man who is in his early 20s, just seeing how the life of another young man being portrayed so realistically, so raw, so emotionally addictive, so emotionally grabbing you was in some weird way really emotionally cleansing. So the whole story about the story about Vagabond is it's about a guy who was born after the chaos of war, which is really epic, it sounds really epic, and he wants to be really invincible. He, along with his childhood friend, wants to be really invincible. They both are really fearful. They both are really unsure. They are both have really uncertainty about his place in the whole, both of their place in the whole world, but they have this burning desire, burning zeal to be really to be bigger than themselves, to be achieve something great in swordsmanship. So they set out on a journey to achieve that. That's basically the story in a really oversimplified way. I have thought about in what way should I make a video about it. At first, I thought I would give you kind of like a written review about Vagabond, about this manga, because I have written review in my. This is something I did before even starting this YouTube channel. I always write down things or in my Google Note app. Whenever I watch something, whenever there's some kind of thoughts in my head, and I actually write it down just so I can go to get more clarity in what I felt. Then I think this is something I have realized after all consuming a lot of movies, being obsessed with movies, being obsessed with anime, being obsessed with manga, manhwa, and consuming a lot of Korean dramas. Is that after consuming something, let it sit with you for a couple of months and see what sticks with you. So if you consume something and you nothing really stuck with you, or you can really mention something, we can mention anything about the media that you consume, then you probably didn't really care about it, even though you probably have written something in your note. So yeah, I think that's how I should talk about this manga. So I'm going to talk about the things that really stuck with me after reading this manga, Vagabond. I think there are a couple of things. The first one is the perspective of a young man struggling himself in the world. That was really appealing to me because I'm in my early 20s and just seeing that, because like the main character, like the characters in this manga, I want to be successful. I want to achieve something. I want to know what my place is in the whole world. So just me desiring that and having just just seeing the portrayal or having my thoughts articulated in a really poetic way was really appealing to me, and I really that still stuck with me. Even though I don't really like the manga, that part specifically stuck with me because I feel like the both Musashi and his childhood friend, I have people like that in my mind, in my heart, or in my soul, whatever way you can depict it. I feel like I want to achieve something, I want to be successful. Then there's another part of me that's really fearful. Let's look at the contrast between two characters, so you will get more idea of what I'm really talking about. So both of them want to be really powerful, invincible, want to be great at swordsmanship, but the way they approach it, the way they approach both of them way they approach it is really different, and they don't really come to the same end. Musashi, despite being really fearful, being uncertain, and being really stuck in some situation where he wants to move forward, but he really can't because he's really fearful of what would happen, he still moves forward. That's the whole Musa. That's the really beautiful thing about Musashi, because he still keeps moving forward despite not knowing what, despite getting no guarantee for what the future will be. He keeps on moving forward. That's not the same for his childhood character. He wants to be great, but he indulges himself in external experience for women, alcohol, and other things. He doesn't really move forward. He gets stuck in. I think people nowadays call it the analysis paralysis. He gets stuck in things that are really comfortable to him. Because what Musashi, so I'm going to pronounce all the Japanese names really wrong. I apologize for that. I don't know Japanese language, and English is my second language. So I'm sorry, I apologize for that. So what Musashi does is really powerful and really something really not natural to human being, because human beings doesn't like uncertainty, doesn't like unfamiliarity, and achieving something is really about going into the uncertainty. Even though you know it, even though you know this in theory, just the fact that just being able to take that action is really really difficult. I think I also really realized this because I know what to do in theory and I know I should keep moving forward, but there's this fear inside me that I'm not going to achieve it. Because okay, let's research it more, let's analyze it more, then see what would be. Instead of just doing the action, just being stuck in that analysis part. That was really just seeing the front character, the his childhood front character. I felt some kind of scariness, fear that that character would be me in the future, and just having that in my mind really bothered me, really scared me, because I feel like I would just end up as him without doing anything. When I say ambitious, I want to be successful. I'm not talking about building a $1 billion company or being an artist, being a successful celebrity or something like that. Just doing things that I want to do instead of just chasing some external things that doesn't really feel good or give any meaning to your life, stuff like that. Just seeing the two contrasts between the character, because Musashi is what I want to be in the future. But I fear that I would end up like his childhood character who at the end feels really jealous towards Musashi because he achieved all the things that he wants to achieve and he can't really, and looking at himself he feels regret because he didn't pursue it, he didn't go after it, he didn't take action. Yeah, that was really scary to me. That just seeing that was really scary to me. That's the first thing that really stuck out to me. I think I read Vagabond 3 4 months ago, and when I think about it, this is the things that come into my mind. The contrast between the two different characters, and I had to talk about the insane art because I think people don't doesn't really appreciate the art or doesn't really talk about it. I think people really talk about it in the manga community and the community, maybe anime community, but I don't think it gets is recognizing in a more international, because most people consider manga to just look down on manga, just doesn't really consider manga to be that artistic, even though what they are doing is really 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 artistic and really really hard. I think every single page in this manga can be made into a painting, can be shown in a museum, can shown within an art show. That's how beautiful and gorgeous the manga is. It's very detailed, it's very realistic, it feels really raw. I think without even reading the conversation or text, you can feel the emotions of the character. That's how deep and really detailed the whole art is. It's probably one of the best art in the whole manga genre. There's another thing that's really stuck with me was the farming arc. So there's an arc in the whole story where Musashi goes into a village. It's during his whole traveling thing. And when he gets into the whole village, it's a really there isn't a lot of people staying there because usually a village has some kind of agriculture. That's how they make their food or make their money and make a living. So all the land in this village are really not that great. The soil is not really good for farming. So there's only one person in this whole family who has a land that actually is suitable for farming, and he actually farms it. And the way he's shown is really in a called evil way because he doesn't really share with it, but he shares with it, but he's really conservative in his sharing because he wants all the people to survive, and he can just randomly give out to her. So the way he's shown is in a really angry old man way because if he's like that, then people will stay away from him. That's his thought process. That's how he thinks. But he really takes care of people who that can really stand up or work, stuff like that. But he does it without anybody else knowing that. So while Musashi stays in that village, stays at the village, he starts farming, he starts actually working, and he keeps on going. But the weird thing is that the people around him, the villagers, start actually personally verbally attacking, not personally physically attacking him, but verbally attacking him in a way because every time they look at this guy who keeps on going even after failing so many times, even after failing every single day, he keeps on working even during even when raining, even when there's a lot of heat, there's a lot of sunlight, and there's a lot of heat, he keeps on working without stopping. And there's a specific scene where the kid actually asks why these people are just constantly just verbally attacking him. It's a really good reply because there was it was something like because whenever these people look at him, they see the reality that they gave up, and he didn't. He just kept on going. So all this they are not attacking the individual Musashi. They are attacking him personally because whenever the villagers are watching him, they are seeing even after they are given up, another person kept on going, kept on working, kept on moving forward, and that really hurts them in a really deep way. This is something really similar to the first point that I talked about because the first point is the first thing that I really talked about the contrast between two characters, Musashi and his childhood friend. And in the end, the childhood friend really feels some kind of jealous and envy because Musashi achieved something that he wanted to achieve, but he couldn't because he kept pursuing something external. That's not the thing that he wanted because that's more comfortable, that's more easy, like alcohol and women. Then the same thing happened. Instead, the villagers stopped working, stopped grinding it out, stopped pursuing to stop all of that, stop all of it. But Musashi kept on going, kept on moving forward, kept on working, and that actually bothers him. That's still in my mind. So whenever I'm thinking of not doing something because it's hard, because it's I feel like I'm going to be like the villagers because I'm not going to pursue the things I want to pursue, and I will start hating the people that actually pursued it, that actually moved forward with it. That's the thing that I'm really scared about or fearful because I'm going to be like that person who is really envious of other people, who is jealous of other people who actually pursued it even after getting so many setbacks, even after getting so many failures, they kept on going. That's what really bothers me. I feel like I'm going to be the loser. So these are the things that really stuck with me. So I will give this manga a 5 out of 10. Even though I don't really like it, I would recommend every single person to read this. Every single person who is in this. The reason for me not enjoying this manga is because when I was reading this manga, I was really deep into the whole philosophical genre, philosophical arc of my life. I was in an existential crisis period arc. I was in an existential crisis arc, and I started reading into philosophical texts and looking into conversation held by philosophers talking about what life is, what I should be, not in what I should be, what a human being should be, and having different kind of conversation. And if I had to explain it in a really simple way, it would be like the iceberg chart me. Because I feel like Vagabond is in the surface, not in a very bad negative way, because it's Vagabond is in the surface, and I have probably went deep within the layers of the iceberg, and I think I was deep within the layers of the iceberg. And while I appreciated the manga, it wasn't really beneficial to me, because even though the whole manga there's still a lot of philosophical, and there's a lot of situation happening in the manga which is really helpful. It's not direct, it's not true, it's not the raw truth of the what life is. But when reading philosophy, is more direct, especially the Indian philosophy. It's more direct, it's more truthful. So while reading this, you have to make it into a manga. You have to make it into a story. But while reading the philosophical text, you don't have to make it in the story. So yeah, that's why I feel like, I think if I read this in while I was in high school, I would probably enjoy it more, and I probably appreciate it more. So yeah, that's what I think about the whole manga. But I would recommend every single person who is in their high school, or who probably in their early 20s, to read this manga. Even if you are in your 20s, just read about this manga. So the art is so gorgeous, the story is so beautiful. You will probably enjoy it. You will really enjoy it. I think if you are a person who doesn't read manga or only consume anime, you should really read this manga, because it's so beautiful. It's so precious. I feel like this should be the manga that people should recommend as a baseline for what a great manga it should be. And there's a lot of, you can probably recommend Monster and any of the other works by the same mangaka. You can but one really bad problem, or one thing really bad thing about this Vagabond manga is that it's not complete. It's in hiatus. I think it's still I think it went it the mangaka post is publishing in 2015, so there hasn't been any other news for it. The manga has been working on his other other work called Real. So yeah, if there's any new news, let me know. And that's it, man. That's it. Thank you for watching the video. If you tell me what you feel about it, tell me what are the things that really stuck with you. So if you enjoyed the video, like the video. If you dislike it, dislike the video, and subscribe if you want more. Mwah.